Man, what's going on, everybody? So I just got back from Texas, and obviously, you guys see what just happened in New York. We've been warning about this for years, and so this is unfortunate. This is a misstep on America's part. Just like with Obama, it's you're not going to see significant change overnight when it comes to what just happened in New York, but just like when they voted for Obama and he introduced that LGBTQ legislation, and you see what that has become in America and how out of hand and crazy that has got. You will see right now, to some people it's going to sound crazy what I'm saying. That's why I'm going to show you some videos so you can actually get a vision. The Bible says without a vision the people perish. I'm going to show you the reality of what's going on in the rest of the world, and how Islam and Muslims are actively trying to do the same thing here in America. And New York is a big city, and so what happened yesterday, it's unfortunate because we've become so woke and politically correct in America that we just ignore common sense, we ignore facts because well, we don't want to hurt people's feelings. Listen, sometimes for safety, right, and wisdom's sake, you've got to hurt people's feelings. And that's one of the biggest problems that I have with, this whole liberal thing. Think about liberal. Just let people do whatever they want, believe whatever they want, feel whatever they want, and then when they get offended that you don't agree, right? Now it's dangerous, right? I believe I'm a man, right? Okay, cool, right? I don't agree, but now you believe that you're a man or a woman, right? A man believes he's a woman, and then he wants to go into the woman's bathroom. Now that's a problem for me. And so we've allowed these people's feelings and imaginations to now start crossing over into legislation, and it's affecting our families, it's affecting our children. We've allowed this stuff to cross over into the universities. And one thing that should scare you, first of all, some of y'all are going to have people doing surgery on you in a couple of years who passed medical school with Chat GPT. And then number two, all of these young kids that have been brainwashed in the universities, who believe a man can get pregnant, who believe that it's okay for men to be in women's sports, they are going to be the politicians. They are going to be the lawyers. They are going to be the ones in charge. Pretty soon, that old guard, the people that we got in there, that were born in the 50s, 60s, 70s, all of them are going to be gone. And this new generation is going to take over. And you are going to see, all right, that because they've been brainwashed, they've been conditioned, the war is not going to be with a gun, it's going to be with a pen. And so I'm going to show you some video clips, but first, 50 Cent, um, that's somebody that, I know this might sound crazy as where I am now in my life, but when I was younger, he was somebody that I really looked up to. I read his book, I used to listen to his music, like had a big influence on me. Like not having my father in my life, I used to like look at TV shows, and I always tell guys like the Cosby Show, Family Matters, all them shows from the 80s and 90s. I'm like, dang man, I want to have a family like that. I grew up in Chicago, poor, living in a shelter, all of that kind of stuff. And so when I got older and 50 Cent kind of popped on the scene, man, like I'm talking about, I was listening to his music all the time. He had the muscles and everything. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to be like that. Like, and then I remember the movie Get Rich or Die Trying came out, and I had this idea, like, man, that's what like a manly man is. He's confident, all of that. And so, I ended up reading his book, and he said some stuff in his book to this day that, has still stuck with me. But I could maybe get into that later. So I want to go to his Instagram page, and I want to show you what he posted. One of the things about him is, he's a free thinker. And let's see, let's make this. So you see, he got the one post here. New York is over, pack it up. All right, got the New York hat in the garbage. And this is a response to this guy, Zohran Mamdani. I think that's how you say his name, getting elected as mayor. Rest in peace, New York City, founded in 1624, died 2025. Now, here's the crazy thing. Let me just say this before we start getting into these videos. They say that most nations, all right, take about civilizations, nations they last for 250 years before they get destroyed, right? You can look this up. This has been a conversation that's been happening for a while. And that right now, America in 2025 is at 249 years. And so I thought that was very interesting, just to think about. And so 50 Cent, he posted this, and I don't think he realizes like how deep it really is. I know he had made some comments about paying this guy to go away, that he would write him X amount of a check for X amount of dollars, to get him out of here. And some of you might not understand why this is so serious, why this is so important. And that's why I'm about to show you what I'm about to show you now, and try to keep this video as short as possible. Okay, we have to pay attention. People in America, they're so stuck on Republican versus Democrat, black versus white, but there's so much more that is going on in the world. And like I said, the problem with America is we've become so politically correct, right? That's the problem. We have to get back to hurting people's feelings. And I know some of you might say, oh, well, that doesn't sound, good. As a Christian, people will try to demonize what I'm saying. No, we got to get back to objective truth. We can't just let people come into this country and say, hey, we're going to turn it into a Muslim country. We're going to invoke Sharia law. And guess what? I'm a man, but I feel like I'm a woman, and I want you to bow down to how I feel. Like, no, you're crazy. Like, look, you can do what you do. I don't hate you, but you're not going to force me to bow down to that. And that wokeness is what is going to destroy America, because we can't even say what we need to say anymore. So I'm going to play just a couple clips for you, for those of you who might not be aware, who might not know. We've been warning about this stuff for years. All right, so let's go here. So obviously I just showed you the post from 50.
What message do you...
I showed you guys. All right, so you can look into this. The average empire survives for 250 years. Is America at death's door? This was written in 2021. As of right now, all right, we are 249 years old. All right, so you could chat GPT it, you could look it up however you want. So that's just a very interesting thing to think. Now, this first video I'm about to show you is from the UK.
What message do you want to give to the far right people?
The message I want to give to the far right people is we're here to take over your country. You can't stop us. You can try, but we're here to uphold Sharia law, and yeah, that's it.
All right.
We're done hiding. We're done. We're done being tortured and hurt and judged. This is the correct religion. This is the religion that all of humanity needs to be a part of, Islam. And we will not stop until it enters every home. So I want you to repeat after me. I want to hear it in every single district. It should tremble. Brooklyn should hear it. The Bronx should hear it. Queens should hear it. Say it as if the Ummah depends on this, my brothers and sisters. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Muhammadan Rasulullah. There is no God worthy of worship except Allah, the God of Jesus, the God.
The mayor of London is Muslim. The mayor of Birmingham is a Muslim. The mayor of Leeds is Muslim. The mayor of Blackburn is Muslim. The mayor of Sheffield is Muslim. The mayor of Oxford is a Muslim. The mayor of Luton is a Muslim. The mayor of Oldham is a Muslim. The mayor of Rochdale is a Muslim. All of this was achieved by only 4 million Muslims out of the 66 million people in England. Today in England, there are over 3,000 mosques. There are over 130 Sharia courts in England, and there are more than 50 Sharia councils. 78% of Muslim women do not work and receive state support and free accommodation. 63% of Muslims do not work and receive state support and free housing. State-supported Muslim families have an average of 6 to 8 children who all receive free accommodation. Every school in the UK is required to teach about Islam. The number one most common baby name in England is Muhammad. This is not immigration. This is invasion.
What we as Muslims want to implement here in the United States, we believe the Constitution should be replaced by the Quran.
First move that I will do, I will abolish the Constitution and I will establish the only and the only logical and rational constitution, which is the Quran and the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
When it comes to spreading Islam on a state level, on a societal level, that method prescribed is jihad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed that the ones who don't accept the ruling of Islam, they must be fought. This is simply the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So I've been warning about this for years. Now here's the mayor coming up that they just elected.
So who is ready to end the exception? I want to hear you say, not on our time. Not on our time. Not on our time. How many more New Yorkers will you detain? How many more New Yorkers will have charged? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan? How many more?
It is such a pleasure to be here at the Sikh Day Parade. And when I think about the lessons from Guru Nanak Dev Ji, there are lessons.
True believer knows that none of this is in vain, that this is all jihad, that this is all ibadah, and that this is all counted for by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so the conversation of doxing, the conversation of getting arrested and suspended, I think it's time for Muslims to start to say, all right, so what? Do what you want. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, because it's about time to do that. And I know everybody has their own families and has an education and everything. It's just a question. We don't want to get doxxed, and we don't want to get suspended, and we don't want to get arrested. How gangsta are you? That's just my question. How much are you willing to do it? And I know everyone has their own risk levels, but at the end of the day, that's a question to ask ourselves. How committed am I to this?
So, all right, let me go back here. So you see what 50 Cent said right there, and he's not that far off. And I've been talking about this forever, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time saying, but for those of you who have never heard me speak about this before, when Obama got elected, because this is a similar move on a lower scale, I don't think that we're going to see like dramatic, significant changes in New York, right? I think this is more spiritual than anything, because it's going to embolden a lot of these people. You saw that guy in New York, right? He's in the streets and he's saying Allah is the way, right? And pretty much you see, and we've made many more videos with this where I could go 30, 40 minutes with clips of Muslim leaders saying, hey, this is what we're going to do here in America and the rest of the world. And I've showed you guys clips where Muslim leaders and terrorists have said, look, keep voting Democrat, because we want you to keep pushing those policies where, yes, abort your babies, be gay. And they're playing the long-term game. And Islam is like the number one growing religion in the world. I was going to pull this clip up, but you just got to go look at my old videos. I'm not going to get into all that. But remember, one of the women from the squad, somebody help me remember what her name is, Talib or something like that. She was in a group with a bunch of Muslims over there pretty much saying, F America, we got to destroy, we got to tear the system down, and we're not effing going anywhere, right? Remember those clips? The reason I play these clips is so people can see the reality. But remember, the Bible warns about a strong delusion. So I showed you what's happening in UK. I showed you how all of these mayors are Muslim, right? I show you videos of them telling us what they want to do. I show you videos of them saying, look, yeah, keep voting Democrat because that's making you weak. While you guys are being gay, while you guys are aborting your babies, we're the number one growing religion in the world. We are migrating everywhere. And when we migrate everywhere, we're going to the voting booth, we're showing up, we're voting, we're putting our people in place. Now, America, they have to play it smart. So I doubt this guy's going to get in there and like anything too crazy happens, but they got to kind of lull you to sleep. But make no mistake, right? When Obama got elected, they strategically made the first black president push the LGBTQ agenda. And they told you, right? Oh, it's not a big deal. The same thing they're doing right now. Oh, it's not a big deal. You're Islamophobic. You're homophobic. Remember, it was the same thing. You're homophobic. Now you're Islamophobic. And it wasn't that we were homophobic. We knew that it didn't feel right. And so they said, no, we just want people to be able to marry who they want to marry. They lit the White House up with rainbow colors. The devil loved that. He said, look, I'm gaining territory in America. And now look at what it's become. And it took some time, right? And Obama was very charismatic. A lot of people liked him. You know, he had the look, he had the way he spoke. And so people just fell for it because they can't see in the spirit. And now we have drag queens, right, reading to little kids. You've got videos of police officers being called because you got butt naked grown men in front of little kids, and they're saying, well, legally, as long as they're not getting sexual gratification out of it, we can't make these dudes put some clothes on. You go to the LGBTQ parade, you go to these protests, people butt naked in front of kids, grown men don't see nothing wrong with it. That's what America has become because we got so politically correct. It, to me, in my opinion, you could feel however you want about this, but seeing what's going on in the rest of the world and seeing, you know, what these Muslims are saying they're going to do, it is completely foolish to do what we just did in New York because it only emboldens them. They're already out there. We see in Detroit, Michigan, right? These people have to listen to the prayer call. Think about that. This is supposed to be a Christian nation. And I know we're not perfect. And I know there's slavery, the civil rights, a lot of things. But America is different because we were founded on Christian principles. And what you see happening right in front of your very eyes, it's all spiritual. We took prayer out of schools. We took the 10 Commandments out of schools. We said the kids don't have to say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore. And then we replaced it with, but you got to use these pronouns. You got to teach this LGBTQ agenda. And that is the spirit of the Antichrist, literally. Now, I want to say this. Don't be afraid. Don't fear. Don't allow this stuff to cause you to be terrified or anything like that. God is in control. There's nothing that is a surprise. You know, I didn't like when Obama won because I knew it was coming and I saw it happen. It's all strategic. They're very smart with what they were going to, you know, what they want to do. And Hillary Clinton, right? She was supposed to do that with the feminist agenda. So they did the gay agenda through Obama, and then they were trying to, you know, take that feminist stuff to a whole nother level by having Hillary Clinton go, and she was going to select the Supreme Court justices. So it would have been even more extreme, right? If Trump had won. So hadn't have won. And so I think that, you know, Trump winning is kind of just like God is trying to it's not really about Trump, but it's about letting us see what's going on. And there's not going to be any excuse because you've had all the warnings, right? You've heard the videos like this. You've seen the posts like this. You see people used to mock and hate what I'm saying, but everything that I'm saying, you see it's becoming a reality in the UK. And now with the internet, you can see videos of these people actually telling us, this is what we're going to do. Go look at my older videos on the topic. The videos I showed you were pretty mild compared to the ones that I've showed you in the past. We're going to take over America and there's nothing you can do. And they're literally laughing in our face because, to be real, they look at Americans as dumb. There's a group of people right now. They saw you guys. Think about this. These Muslims and some of these radical, and listen, I don't hate anybody. I understand that not everybody who is a Muslim, you know, is pushing. I want to acknowledge that from a wisdom perspective. They're not pushing these ideologies. It's like every person that is gay, right? I might disagree with your lifestyle, but not every person that is gay is cool with, you know, drag queens reading to kids. So I acknowledge that, but it doesn't change the fact what Islam teaches, what is in the Quran, and that you have people that are faithful and dedicated to pushing it. And we see the results of that happening all around the world. So for those of you coming late, I'm going to end this video so it doesn't go too long. But remember, they say most civilizations last 250 years before they are destroyed or dramatically changed. And America, as of 2025, is at 249. So as I've told you guys before, I would continue to build. I would continue to pray. All right. And just watch and pray and teach your kids and be careful because like I said, these guys, they're laughing. They love what they see going on in the university. You got these people who are just, you know, how would you say this, Lord? Help me to be careful. You go in the university and these people just, oh, we hate Israel. We hate that. They're focused on that, right? And then you ask them, do you support Palestine? They say yes. But if you went to that country, all of you gay university students, they would kill you. They would throw you off a roof. All of you women, you would be having to wear the hijab and all that kind of stuff. And you wouldn't have the freedoms that you have in America. But you dummies, right? Because you've been brainwashed, you'll support that and you'll vote for that because the university done think about that. Think about how scary that is. All these young brainwashed people, they are going to be the new lawyers, the new senators, the new governors eventually. And so the problem with most Americans is you're not looking at the long-term game while everybody else is. They're telling Americans, be gay, abort your babies, you don't need a man, right? And Muslims are like, hey, let's be fruitful, let's multiply, let's grow the religion by having babies, let's spread, let's go evangelize to other nations, our doctrine, let's go to the voting booth, right? They tell the church, stay out of politics. Muslims are like, hey, let's go to the voting booth, let's get our leaders in there. All right, and they understand that when they get control of the pen, that's what I'm telling you. The war's not going to be with a gun in America; it's going to be with a pen. So don't fear, don't be afraid. 50 Cent, he is a smart guy, you know, and I know he's posting what he's posting kind of in a strategic way. But you seen what he posted, right? He said, "Death to New York City. The enemy loves gaining territory." So we got Dearborn, Michigan. We see what's going on in New York. We see what's going on in the UK. Hey, you better just watch and pray. But don't be afraid. I know we still got time to build. I know we still got that because God's been telling me this since 2014. Build it in this season. I'ma bless it. God is trying to wake the church up. He's trying to show us what's going on. You just got to pay attention. That's really the only thing. And some people, they're not going to listen. They're not going to pay attention. And then when things get bad, they're not going to be prepared. Casual Christians will be casualties. All right. www.marcusrogersministries.org if you want to support what we're doing here in Chicago. Guys, listen, people be giving millions of dollars to these mega pastors. Help us out. We're trying to build. There's so many things that I'm working on, so many things that I'm doing. So if you want to partner with us, we would greatly appreciate it. Love y'all. Be blessed. Have a wonderful day in Jesus' name.